And we're back. Hopefully, y'all have been enjoying week 2 of the Aegis Team League, and we're going to be getting straight into our next head-to-head between these next two teams. Gummy, who do we have on deck?
So immediately off the home team, we have the Illyrian Royal Guard, right? We have Column, Fat, and Mixius, right? Column with the Happy Chaos, Fat on the Bridget, subbing in for 2 players actually, and Mixius on the Slayer. So I'm hoping we do get to see a Slayer we will see a Slayer at some point tonight. But let me give a shout out to the highlighted player on the Illyrian Royal Guard Column, right? Reigning like a reigning terror. The Happy Chaos has been known throughout net play brackets everywhere. Definitely a player to look out for, and definitely a player I am looking forward to watching. Now on the other side, we have New Head, right? New Head, you definitely have heard of them, you know of them, right? They run their own tournament series and their players are really funny. But on their team, we have Uabami with the Johnny, Sergeant Frogger with the Elfo, and Akano with the Ramlethal, right? You're not a character you see too much representation of these days with all these so bad guys, Goluses, and whatnot. But the highlighted player on New Head side will actually be Uabami. Love watching this guy play, and especially on Johnny, right? A character you don't see too much of as well, with being on the lower side of the tier list, some people say, and whatnot. So I'm excited to see how Uabami will, fare. And here we are tonight. But format, same thing as before, right? We got a first to three, and a first to 4. Same deal. You know what's up. We're here for the long haul. Let's get this set going.
Yeah, we're already starting off with our 2 highlight players from both teams. Column from Illyrian Royal Guard for set number 1 versus Uabami from New Head Apes. I'm really excited to see how this one's going to turn out. Column, of course, a huge threat on the Happy Chaos. Actually won Winter Showdown 2024. So actually has like a pretty decent tournament placement under his belt. But so does Uabami with the Johnny. Uabami made 4th at Slashback 2024 and does such a great job at all of these online brackets. I can say that about a lot of these players. A lot of these players are very active in the scene, always play in these tournaments, and always place very highly. And Uabami is no exception with the Johnny. If you know Uabami, you probably know Uabami as Uabami Johnny. This character is basically ingrained into Uabami's identity, and it's a character that you don't see played very often either, especially at a high level like this. So I'm interested to see what Uabami brings to the table and how they're going to be approaching a matchup like Happy Chaos, because Happy Chaos can kind of play a strong zoning game in return to Uabami's strong zoning game as well. So we'll see how that turns out as these players get ready.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, right? Like both these characters have their clear win condition, right? With Happy Chaos getting curse on you, and Uabami maybe getting a knockdown, getting cards set into Misfinder and stuff. But what I'm wondering is a scenario I'm already picturing in my head is Clone, right? How does a character like Johnny deal with a special move like that? Johnny does do a lot of single hit special moves, right? Or with the Misfinder being the main one. And same thing with Senga. I think all his special moves are actually single hit, right? And in the normals as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, but they are very disjointed as well. So if you try to go and destroy those clones, chances are you're not really going to get punished for that. So you can safely just poke from far ranges, clear it. And at the end of the day, even if you're still in that neutral state, remember, the Happy Chaos still had to use a bit of their health in order to set that clone in the first place. So in reality, you're actually setting that Happy Chaos back by destroying that clone, even if you don't really gain any ground, any neutral advantage over them after that interaction.
Yeah, definitely, right? This is just a lot of layers to that interaction alone, because, maybe while you destroy it with the Misfinder, maybe Happy Chaos throws a curse or something, right after, or maybe has meter behind it, back it up. There's a lot of layers to this, which makes me really excited to see how 2 titans of players like Column and Uabami, proficient and masters of their character, to see how they will go about this matchup, especially when we don't see often, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's mainly just because Johnny is a very rare character. I mean, you gotta think about it. Who actually plays this character at a high level, right? Uwabami, Peppery Splash,
MJ,
MJ Karase, and then what else, right? Like, can you really
maybe
name that many more players?
there might be someone else we're forgetting, and I apologize about it. But yeah, like sets like these, I'm always looking forward to see like the rare characters. There's your Umi shows and Tempest. We see those all the time, but stuff like this, the nitty gritty, I love looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we actually have a lot of those unique character picks in this team league to look forward to. I know we have a full-on Mei team where everyone plays Mei, and there aren't a lot of Mei players, surprisingly, in this version of the game, even as strong of a character as she is. So that is a team to look forward to if you really enjoy watching that character. But there's also, Ramathals, like we talked about, right? There's plenty of Ramathals. We have 2 goats, 2 Rams, which is actually one of the favorite teams to try and actually take this team league home. I know you got Tempest on there, you got SQ on there, and immediately with those 2 players, that already sets a precedent. Like, okay, I'm already expecting a bloodbath whenever they play against another team. Red Ditto is also a part of that team as well. So a lot of character representation across the board and a lot to look forward to because we're still in week number 2. We're in uncharted waters. A lot of players don't quite know how to approach different players, different teams, and this is just kind of this information stage because it is a round robin. And while these wins do count at the end of the day, what is more important is that you're understanding how to play against these teams and you're formulating a game plan to win later in this round robin stage.
All right, but here we are starting up the first set. Once again, Illyrian Royal Guards Column versus New Heads Uwabami. I'm looking forward to this.
We've been looking forward to this for a while, and hopefully we have no more hiccups and we can get right into the swing of things. Already saw the intros. Are we going to put out the intros again? Hold on. Checking the opponent's connection. All right.
Oh.
No more airship, and we're not going to be playing the intros either. Going straight into the set, and Column already winning this first interaction with the radical on Uwabami, not missing his shots in a burst from Uwabami immediately.
Yeah, and immediately, right, Uwabami running the pressure, getting it all started, taking advantage of the fact that Column did run out of concentration there for a hot second. But here we go, we got Curse on us, so we have to play it slower, otherwise something like this could happen if you get caught out.
Yeah, and you really do have to play slower as well because Johnny does not have a normal dash and can actually get caught out in the middle of these very long dashes if he's trying to approach Column. So you have to play very careful in that regard.
All right, using the concentration super to get some frame advantage here, but Uwabami using the guard crush to swap sides here. Choosing not to spend.
Okay.
Whoa.
Able to get out of that situation. That would have been an unreactable overhead, but we already locked into our option on defense, and Column locking into the super, finding the kill on Uwabami and actually reversing that situation to take that win in the end. But still, you need one more round to take the first game, and we're back at that best of 5 first to 3 format.
Oh, getting hit with the counter hit bar slash here, right? Using the wild assault to break the wall and the hard knockdown. Look at this damage that happened here. Uwabami not letting this pressure actually go to waste. Instant overhead. Watch your dome taking the round. Uwabami tying it up here
with a near perfect as well. Harley getting touched and a 6P actually catching Column, trying to go for that side swap, trying to go for that cross up right there.
And there's that situation we were talking about earlier, right? Like just one such case of many situations where Clone is out on the field. We already have Curse on us. How do we deal with it? And unfortunately, it looks like Uwabami didn't as well as maybe they could have, but Column took advantage of it. Oh, nice little combo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, combo rooting too. We're gonna end the combo right there, not spending any more resources, instead using it for that PRC utility to manage that screen positioning. But unfortunately, Uabami is going to be sent through the other side of the wall with this super. Still with some life on the table. I cannot even see that health bar anymore. And we're just going up for a simple 5k. Give him the foot. Catching his shins. And that will be the first game going to Column over Uabami.
Yeah, that was see, that's exactly what I expect from two players like this, right? Going back and forth every round, situations, a lot of cool combos, and just knowledge of like just character specific things in the matchup. Like I didn't know you can roll to avoid the instant overhead. I mean, it definitely seems like a very big call out thing, where if you're wrong, the consequences could be very dire. But Column, knowing the character, knowing the matchup, willing to take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. These are all the tiny interactions that wins you those games in the end. So we're going to already see Column has a great idea of how to play in this matchup. That's going to be bringing Column the distance for sure.
All right, here we are running our pressure, using the concentration for some frame advantage, and catches a button here. Unfortunately, we get the wall break with the wild assault. Column keeping this pressure going, right? We're not non-stop. We're unrelenting. Oh, and Uabami finds a way out. And we're right back in the corner.
Two Columns name right now, so Uabami can play as aggressive as they want. There's the far slash, close slash as well, catching Column, and now Column back up against the wall, cannot burst either, and looks like we'll be holding on to that burst. As Uabami just needs to find one more hit, trying to go for that curse, but Uabami recognizing the situation, using the dash from the Mistfinder stance and catching Column on that retreat. Very smart, very well played, and Uabami needs to win one more round to even up this game count.
Alright, this is a very scary spot, but not anymore. We're using the concentration super once again. I'm noticing a lot of usage from Column's end, right? Maybe HC just plays a little differently. And nice little throw, keeping the pressure going. Right, catching the backdash and the button with a 6 as fist right to the face to break the wall and take the round. Both these players going back and forth once again.
Clone set up and using that as a wall. Column making it over the fence. Burst coming out, pushing Uabami into a situation Column feels more favorable in, and getting those cross-ups that have been doing so much work against Uabami, right? Uabami has barely been blocking any of these roll-throughs.
Yeah, right. It's a hard thing to block in general, and speaking of hard to block things, that instant overhead, spending the meter to go into the super. What's my name? Leaving barely a pixel of HP. Oh, nice little shimmy on the throw here. This could be some pretty big damage here on Happy Chaos as it Column's end.
But we don't have any meter. Instead, we will be spending that wall assault to get the hard knockdown so we can get some Oki started and get some meter in return. The red RC looking to bait out a burst, but not finishing his food in the process. Uabami stuck at full screen, trying to go for the full screen with Punish Tarot Card Super. But
that was
poor Column. Even though they avoided it with the roll, that was actually a crazy option. They avoided it with the roll. Caught out by the Mistfighter in the end. That was certainly a crazy interaction to cap off that game, but now we're evened up 1-1.
Yeah, like that right there alone was just a great example of like the matchup specific things, right? Like, oh, I know you're doing this, so I'm gonna do this, but I know you're doing that, so I'm gonna do this. Like the Mistfinder closing out the round right there, just like on reaction to the roll was super cool to see. Uabami showing the mastery on Johnny. Showing why Johnny's in the name.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're here starting game number three, trying to go for a throw, but not quite spaced correctly. First coming out from Uabami on a wake up, does not want to deal with the mix, but you're going to have to deal with the mix regardless, because Column is going to be sending you through the wall with this super and getting that hard knockdown. So Column can just run whatever Oki they see fit, or they can just go for a curse instead. Okay, hold on. Column, we're just meeting at this point. Air rap.
I like
Air dash, gold burst.
I like the idea. You know, maybe trying to catch.
Gummy, no. We don't encourage that kind of behavior. We do not
Okay.
encourage that kind of behavior. I do not agree with that idea, and you should not have done it.
I do agree with Bobby just like, you know, using the meter there to take the round and actually potentially having a set point here for Uwabami. All right,
Colin. Let's play for real this time, okay? Let's not go for the shenanigans. There we go. Okay, great clone placements and great spacing as well. Catching Uwabami, and now Uwabami is cursed, so you notice that Uwabami can't really approach Happy Chaos in this state, and it has to rely more on these disjoints from the Misfinders.
All right, and there's that tap dust we were talking about, right? One of Happy Chaos's most important buttons because he has no standing overheads. And capitalized off it, forcing the burst by Uwabami forcing the burst in return. Here we go, gunshot into the Deus Ex. Let's refresh our bullets. This will not kill, but it will do a hefty amount of damage and leave Uwabami in an unfavorable position, giving Happy Chaos Column positive bonus.
But it also gives Uwabami a lot of burst in return as well. BRC coming out from Column, trying to go for the air chase from Uwabami and spending that wall assault to extend the combo, though still not enough. YRC coming out from Column on defense, but it pushed Uwabami straight into their perfect range that they wanted to be in, catching Column with the tip of the sword. That's going to be another game going to Uwabami, as they just need to win one more game to take the set and take the first point for New Head Apes.
Dang, this is so back and forth, right? Like all these sets, or this set is like, it feels like it's going on forever, right? I'm just so like, I'm entranced. I'm so into this. Like I love seeing both these characters, like both these players, like show off the mastery with their characters, showing all these little like the intricacies, the how they handle the scrambles. Like right there at the very end, we saw Uwabami just handling it perfectly, going into stance, like stance canceling in the air to slightly delay the fall speed, stuff like that. I love watching.
And honestly, just the commitment to use those slower startup specials and moves as well, noticing that yes, this is the perfect range to use it, and that there aren't really many options that Column might have that can effectively punish me from this range. And what a jump cancel on that clone as well. That was so smart, catching Column off guard. Remember, you still can cancel off of that clone even if you do hit it.
Yeah, it does act like you're hitting Happy Chaos like himself, right? Just minus, it doesn't want to, your hit won't do any damage. So, you know, all the properties, like you can RC off it, you can still jump cancel it, stuff like that.
Okay, now has half burst and spending the YRC. Uwabami. Oh, that miss! That's crazy.
All right, you see?
Immediately recognizing that it missed, punishing Uwabami, setting Uwabami through the wall, instead finding an advantage of their own burst on the table for both of these players. But Column also has meter too, spending the burst. Uwabami trying to go for that burst bait, waited very long as well, so long that honestly, if Column didn't burst there, I feel like Uwabami would have dropped in that situation.
Yeah, the combo probably would have dropped. Maybe the height, you know, and on that, like Uwabami might have been in disadvantaged state right there, but Column is stuck in this corner with just Uwabami tossing out these cards. We're just misfiring.
Yeah, right now Column is trying to roll through them because that has worked before, but these ranges are like the spacing is just so good from Uwabami, where like, you know, we're not really fearing those rolls because they're not going to be in range to actually punish me for using them.
All right,
that's going to be dead.
Yeah, going into the Deus Ex, Guts Crush Super doing a ton of damage. Column taking the round. Once again, going back and forth to a last round scenario.
Are we going to get a game number 5? We will see. Column looking to make it happen. Okay, clone is up. Shooting Uwabami, getting that concentration, making sure that concentration meter does not run empty, because once it runs empty, that's Uwabami's time to rush right in.
Oh, that was cheeky. I love seeing that. Using the steady aim to cancel, like, or to make you think you're gonna get shot, but rolls instead.
big counter hit for Uwabami, and suddenly things are looking so much brighter for them. Positive bonus as well, but instead going for the empty air dash into the throw, and that will be the set. Going to Uwabami 3-1, beating Column and sending Column back to their team as Uwabami instead returns home with 1 point to their name. Good lead for New Head Apes to open up this series.
Yeah, super fun set to watch, right? Like we were talking, like Column on the come up, definitely a known happy chaos in the area, and Uwabami showing why Johnny is in the name. Loved watching that set. It was super fun. Props to both of you guys. Congratulations. It was an awesome set. But next up, we got Fat on the Bridget. If you've been around the block, you definitely know who this is versus Sergeant Frogger on the Elfo. I'm actually not too familiar with Sergeant Frogger. Maybe you are.
Sergeant Frogger doesn't really play in a lot of majors, so it is very understandable that you may not know who Sergeant Frogger is, but Sergeant Frogger has played in a lot of online brackets. Fantastic results at Backput Brawl, fantastic results at tournaments like Tampa Never Sleeps. And when you say like you do well at Tampa Never Sleeps, your eyes are kind of like open, like, okay, hey, Sergeant Frogger may actually be pretty good. 17th actually at the last Guilty Gear Strive Weekly from TNS. And man, let me tell you, those brackets can be such a killer, right? I mean, there's so many huge players in there. I mean, I think Sergeant Frogger actually beat SQ in the last TNS. So definitely look forward to this player. This LFL is a no slouch, but Fat is a no slouch with the Bridget either. Great results at Combo Breaker back in May, and looking to bring some results home as a sub for this team as well.
All right, here we are going into the second set here of the series. All right. Nice, fast starting immediately, getting the throw off, and we're gonna get our yo-yo set, starting our pressure off, right? And it looks like we're not gonna spend a burst here. We're not spending Wild Assault or meter. We are going straight for the wall break here.
Immediately plus, spending the meter for the super. And the thing about Bridge's pressure is that it is very safe and very loopable. And the same can be said about a character like LFL, where we can just keep looping this offense, so many pressure resets, and can actually play a bit of a zoning game as well, like we see there with those fireballs. But Fat able to catch Sergeant Frogger out right there in the end, popping them up high and finishing off that first round.
Yeah, you know, these characters are, I guess functionally they might be, they work pretty similarly, right? They both have their very clear win condition in mixing the opponent's character and whatnot. Oh, when speaking of mix, we have the command grab there.
I would say that, but even more so than LFL, Bridget is a character that can go in at her own terms, right? We can just sit back, feint those approach options, specifically with the roll, with the yo-yo sets, and can just kind of bully you from far for very safely.
All right,
yo-yo set into the throw, smacking him with a Roger. Sergeant Frogger going down as Fat takes that first game with a commanding lead.
Yeah, taking the first game of the set, right? Immediately, no rounds dropped. Showing why they're a good player. But Frogger, you know, like against a character like Bridget, it's gonna take some time to adapt, especially if you don't have very good reversals.
Aegis Esports Guilty Gear Strive Team League. We have 24 teams filled with top class to even mid-level players. Like everybody coming in, competing as a team, and there's a lot of strategy whether it comes to the team picks, whether it comes to who do you want to face against each other in these sets. And right now we're in game number 2 of this team series between New Head Apes and Kingdom of Illyria.
All right, and here we go, baiting a DP. Unfortunately, not getting the best punish, but we get the round anyway. Sergeant Frogger coming back strong immediately, right? Using the Pine Berries round start to throw off Fat's game. Here we go, getting the throw. Might get a yo-yo set started. Yeah, definitely don't want to get that wall broken, especially with a character like Fat. You give that character some meters, she gets started, just like everyone else. We're choosing to spend the burst, but good blocks here on Sergeant Frogger's side. Gets caught out by the jump, unfortunately, and the Rogers super death of the killing machine will just barely take the round. Fat out here was running that offense like crazy.
Honestly, this is looking really Fat favored. Like I said before, as Bridget, you can kind of just set the pace, go in at your own accord whenever you want, basically, with those yo-yo sets, with those approach options that Bridget has on the table. And you can see Fat just setting the pace of the match, even on defense, even when they have that health deficit. But a great 6P coming out from Sergeant Frogger in response to the roll follow-up on the yo-yo. And we're going straight into the super. In the hard knockdown, the Pineberry catching Fat on a wake up, and that is going to be the round, the game going to Sergeant Frogger, as now we're here sitting at 1-1, and we're actually seeing that option represented a lot from Sergeant Frogger a lot more often, going for those 6Ps whenever those yo-yos are set behind him, because the idea behind it is that you're beating out those rolls if Fat tries to approach in using those yo-yos. And even if it whiffs, like, you're not really going to be getting punished in any big way unless Fat stays grounded and just throws out those far slashes or 5Hs.
Yeah, the great thing about like Elfeld 6P is that it's really fast, it's relatively active, it does have some recovery, but the big thing about it is its range is massive. It reaches really high and really far, so using it on defense right here, like especially on Fat's offense, is very good.
Absolutely. Throw, give her the beatbox, the boombox, listen to some music while I keep you in the corner, but Fat does not want to be in the corner for that much longer. Hitting Sergeant Frogger with a multi-hitting over and actually backing up. Great spacing to try and avoid that Pineberry, but Sergeant Frogger is just going straight for another one, catching Fat on the retreat, and that's going to be another wall break to Sergeant Frogger, starting off this round strong as well. Also has enough burst for deflect shield, or we're going to use that meter for the YRC, but that's going to be ending up being baited.
All right, and we're back into a similar position. Oh, barely not gonna come. We do have some tension, and we're not actually using it yet. Sergeant Frogger getting caught by the overhead. It's unexpected, but Fat takes the first round here. All right, both players
on defense. DP coming out. Bridget, while a very high mix character, also does have a DP as well. That is something you have to be looking out for on the defense with this character. But right now, you have to worry about your own defense, because Sergeant Frogger is going to be eating the full force of a positive bonus of Bridget coming from Fat.
Oh, but we have the gold burst on deck. PRCs maybe anticipating the killing machine super here, but we're running our offense. We're keeping the pressure started. We're throwing Fat into the corner. We're swapping sides. That was dirty, and maybe getting a potential kill here.
I think we might. We're going to get the wall break, and with enough damage from the can damage from the wall break, that will be another round going to Sergeant Frogger. We're evening things up yet again, and we're starting to see some 6Ps represented yet again in neutral against Fat. We want to beat those grounded buttons.
Oh, unfortunate drop, having Sergeant Frogger actually come out of the corner.
And what's notable about the deflect shield too is that we're actually trying to use that on those multi-hitting moves like that JH from JS? Yeah, JS I think. JS, from Bridget. Because of multi-hits, it pushes Bridget back so far. It's basically a faultless defense put on steroids.
Yeah, it's really fun. And the other thing about it is if it's a multi-hit move, you can't bait the deflect shield unless you use meter in any way. So it has its benefits, and it also, like, for two reasons, right? The faultless defense on steroids, like you mentioned, and also the fact that it is unbaitable at that point. And it looks like Fat will be taking the next game here. I think tying up. No, is it tied up? I don't know the score.
No, Fat is going to be actually taking the lead yet again, because now we're sitting here 2-1 over Sergeant Frogger. Fat looking to take one more, trying to bring home a point that New Head Apes took away from them. And man, we're just going back and forth, not only in these sets, like the games in the sets, but also the sets in the series, right? We're just going back and forth, trading games, but we're also trading sets and points, and that's what I like to see. Where not only are the players evenly matched, the teams as a whole are evenly matched as well.
Yeah, I definitely love seeing like seeing a wash is fine and all, but seeing like back and forth competition is always much more exciting to watch, and I'm very excited to see that. Just like these tap dust here, Sergeant Frogger opening up fat and breaking the wall. We have positive bonus on deck. Are we gonna be able to use it for our offense? Maybe. We have 100 tension. Backdash just gets caught by the pad.
Oh, but we're going to be blocking this. That should be able to bait this out. Yeah, right now we're not doing any actions, but immediately going for the RC into the Pineberry, going to the other side, and that's going to be a return of the killing machine, catching Sergeant Frogger, but a throw on Wake Up will be enough for Sergeant Frogger to take this round away from Fat.
All right. Nice little set. Oh, Kizeme here set up. We're using the burst. We don't want to deal with this like scenario, right? Because dude, he's left right.
There it is, the 6P.
Yeah. And looks like we're gonna get a super here. Same situation as before, right? Hard knockdown positive bonus, especially on Elfo. We have meter though on Fat side, so potential super, but we're backdash, BRC, maybe to get out of this danger with no trouble.
The yo-yo. Ooh, but want to get counter hit. This could be huge for Fat. But there it is, another deflect shield on a multi-hitting move, pushing Fat further away. But Fat able to rebound with the yo-yo, gain that follow-up, and gain this super.
All right, Sergeant Frogger down, but now out. We still have 100 tension and burst on the table. But the yo-yo set will clip their toes and leave you tying up the rounds and leaving it a set point here for Fat.
Yeah, this could potentially be the final round of the second. Fat close it out right now. That's a favorable counter hit 2C, taking away the burst, but the DP will be baited out, and look at the damage, look at the reward Sergeant Frogger gets off of that read.
Yeah, barely down to maybe 10% HP. Any single hit could maybe do it, but the deflect shield to send Elfo full screen.
Oh, we're getting antsy on defense, but we're also getting antsy on offense. What a backdash coming out from Sergeant Frogger, placing them at the best spacing possible to punish Bridget, to punish Fat, and now we are 2-2 game number 5. How does this keep happening? How do we keep trading games? It has to be scripted at this point. We are following a script.
Maybe it's scripted, or maybe, like we mentioned earlier, these teams are just so evenly matched that, we're just constantly gonna be seeing game 5s, right? This is our maybe third, fourth of the nights, maybe? And, I'm wondering if maybe for our next set, Mixius versus Akane with the 4 and the, first to 4, if we'll see a game 7 scenario. We'll have to look forward to that.
Right now, we only have one more game left of this set. Game number 5. Who will take it? Who will take it home for either of their teams? 6P catching that approach yet again. That is going to have to start baiting those out a little bit more often. You can't actually cancel out of those rolls.
Wow. Okay, Sergeant Frogger is just being relentless here with the offense, using the meter to continuously go into this wreck of pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna call it wreck of pressure. That sounds fine. All right, Fat. Oh, baits the.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, now Fat starting to adapt. Instead of going for that overhead, we're going for that low instead, catching out the 6P attempt. And what a smart adaptation to bring Fat back to set point.
Yeah, just like you mentioned also, right? Like maybe the reward off of baiting 6P is like, or the consequence is not the worst, right? The very least there, we got like a small wall break. And speaking of wall breaks, we have another one here with the killing machine. Yeah, this is very scary. We have 100 tension. We might see a 6P on block into, oh my gosh, we're spending the meter here. Sergeant Frogger being relentless here with the offense, going left, going right. You're getting grabbed here. 100 tension.
Another throw. This is doing so much work into the red Roman cancel to extend it, and the super as well. And suddenly, that lead that Fat has built up has disappeared, and Sergeant Frogger taking the burst from Fat as well. The super coming out to keep those plus frames, finding a hit with the overhead, but not able to confirm. And Sergeant Frogger with a huge comeback is now bringing us to final game, final round.
Yeah, but you know, Sergeant Frogger does have burst on the table. We might be seeing it soon, and we are with the gold burst 2H. Leads to a huge hit reward, right? So here we are, wall break, and we gained enough tension for another super. This is a very scary spot for Fat. We're down 50%. We're almost at 40%. Any one hit at this point will do it. YRC's the fuzzy.
Sergeant Frogger just sent flying. But this is a very similar situation from last time, the PRC, using it as a pause button to see what Fat is going for and going for the correct punch with the 6P, trying to do it yet again, but running a little too far forward. Fat with so little life as Sergeant Frogger takes this game here, takes this set. This will be the team win in this series in the 2K2D. Not able to close it out, but the Pineberry mix-up will catch Fat out, and Sergeant Frogger with a huge comeback in the round before closing out this round with absolute confidence takes the point home, the second point home for New Head Apes, and gives them the team series win.
That was such a fun set to watch. That was so close, especially there at the very end. I loved seeing right there like the 2P match, like into the far slash link to bring it back. It was such a good adaptation there from Sergeant Frogger's end. I loved it. That was really fun, right? Another game 5 scenario. But
that was a super fun matchup. A super fun set. I really love watching, and let me tell you, this is what the team series is all about, and hopefully y'all have been enjoying all of the sets that we've seen so far throughout this night. But the night has to end at some point, and we have one more set to go. Certainly not the weakest one, though. This is going to be keeping that action up as we close off the night here with our final set between Mixius and Akino. Remember, Mixius on the Slayer and Akino here on the Ramblefall.
Yeah, and immediately starting it off with the whiff punish far slash just to get the best reward off it immediately, right? But this matchup might be a little scary, right? You have Slayer. We've all been hearing about it, right? The high damage monster that this character is, and Ramlethal is just super solid all around. And so I'm wondering how these two characters, I wonder how the matchup looks. I haven't really. But here we are with a
6H counter hit. Okay, you kind of have to burst that one, or you're going to be taking a lot of damage. And tries to hit the double Rekka into the sword toss, but a little too slow on that one to get that full combo. And instead, Mixius is going to be turning things around, trying to make something happen. The Rock, the Ondo coming from behind. And that is such a strong tool that Ramblefall has, because it makes her mid-screen presence so scary. In previous versions of the game, she didn't really have a tool like that you had to respect, but now you really do. And if you get hit by it, that's a full combo in mid-screen. If you're close enough to the corner, that's free corner carry and a free wall break for Ramlethal. But this is going to be free wall break for Mixius with that pile bunker automatically wall splats.
Oh, and here we go. We got the pile bunker loops here. We have 100 tension. Go spending it all, cashing out. Peanut Butter Gamer Super. This is going to do so much damage. Definitely taking the round. Mixie is tying it up here.
The Event Horizon launching Ramlethal around like we have 900% in Super Smash Bros. What a round comeback from Mixius right there. And this just really goes to show, like, even if Slayer is losing for most of the round, if you just get that one good hit, if you have those resources, man, you just immediately die.
Right, like that's the thing with Slayer, like you mentioned, the big damage, getting the resources. So like even maybe spending your burst when you have maybe a pixel HP might not necessarily be a bad burst. But it looks like we do block the Calvados here.
Smart YRC, and we're getting the cross up right here with the Master's Hammer.
Oh, but oh my gosh, this is so tricky.
It is so tricky. This is a very hard character to block. When you think of like high damage characters, you often think like, okay, maybe their mix isn't that great, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Nagoriyuki has some good mix, but like it's pretty good, but it's not nearly as much of a threat as like Slayer. Because
Right.
Slayer
Yeah.
can just
It's
do
a
these
different.
underreactable side swaps, double side swaps if he wants to, because he can go for the dash that teleports right through into the Master's Hammer, hitting you behind. Like he kind of just acts like Milia. He has Mirage, but tied to his regular dash. And there's the 2D counter hit, the carpet on the floor, catching Akino right there out of the blue, and oh my god.
Oh my gosh, this damage. This was off 2 touches.
Oh, we dropped the combo. Okay.
All right.
Turning things around. Not going to be a lot of damage in return, but we're going to go for the highest damage ender with a 2-1-4-H. Send him through the wall. 6P, 2S into the flip as well, and the PRC to extend the combo with the Wild Salt and the Calvados to go for the Guts Crush. That will be dead.
Yeah, Calvado's definitely another Guts Crush super in the game. Definitely, probably Ram's better super that she has at this point. Well, at least for damage, right? It's like it's Slayer, pretty beefy character,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
pretty hard to carry, right?
The premier Guts Crush super. It has 30 hits, and you know, if there's ever a question in your mind, like, is Calvados going to kill? Oftentimes, the answer is yes.
And instead of Calvados, we're going into the Morbato here, or Morbato.
Morbato definitely does more damage if, you know, you're not in this yellow health where the guts really start to kick in. First coming out here from Mixius and trying to rush in with the Mappa Hunch, but great interrupt from Akino here, able to take a game in return.
Yep, and here we are tying it up. Actually,
Just
you know,
doing it yet again.
yeah, it was something that
It's
something that we mentioned earlier, right? When we were talking about Johnny, is that Johnny has a step dash. I guess Slayer does as well, but and although Slayer, it's 100% better, right? They both have the same dash jump, but Slayer has just easier ways of getting into neutral, scarier ways, you know, with the Mappa Hunch, being safe and going really far.
counter hit trade on round to start, and man, we are just rushing right in. You know, if it didn't work, we're just gonna go for it again. We're gonna keep on going for it until it hits. And there's a dash coming in from Mixius. Master's Hammer counter hit. That's going to be plenty.
Yeah, the Master's Hammer counter hits me just be leading into these pile bunker loops. So much reward off a mistimed throw. Slayer, oh my gosh, this character does crazy damage.
6H into sword toss, catching Mixius. This can be oh no, we did a miss input. I think we tried to go for Calvados with the sword toss, but we ended up missing the input. Still though, we are able to rebound, and this will be the wall break. Not enough. Oh, never mind.
Oh, the windshield wiper
That's
just
enough.
barely being enough to kill Akino, taking it with the perfect here. But, you know, Slayer does have burst on deck. Akino choosing to spend their remaining half for the red wild assault, going high here. Or keep. Now we got the sword toss. Slayer.
As a movement tool. 2S counter hit. The burst coming out. And the 2D catching Akino. And what's really important about this 2D too is that because it's basically just a carpet on the floor, it's actually going to be low profiling a lot of the moves that Ramfall might want to do in neutral, like first, like 5H. And look at this right now, the mix that Mixius is putting on top of Akino, really living up to their name, but now they're here stuck in the mix instead, using all of their resources, all of their moves, and pressure resets plus frames after plus frames. That risk is built up so high, it is blood red, but we're still able to find our way out, and that Master's Hammer will be enough, catching Akino, and that is going to be another game going to Mixius.
Okay, Mixius, first of all, your blockers, okay? If coming back, anyone that can come back when their risk is flashing, it has that caution sign, I kneel. Your defense is really good, but especially with all those tap duds we mentioned before, those are really hard to see. You know, being relatively fast and the reward off it, right? Ram has similar to HC, especially if sword toss is already out, you can combo off of it. But Mixius coming back at me at the gold burst here.
All right. We're not going to remember. Once again, we're not encouraging this behavior. I don't know if that was really that optimal of a gold burst, but you know what? It gave them plenty of mirror to go for that mortar bottle on a wake up. So it looks like it ended up paying off. But right now, Mixius is paying off all their taxes right now. One more interaction, one more opening is all they need on Akino. The Mappa Hunch trying to get in by any means possible. The wall is up to extend the combo straight into the Calvados. We're not at the wall, so we're not going to wall break, and that will not be enough to kill.
Oh, but the super... Yeah, that 100% lands. That super is relatively slow on startup, but the travel time is near instant. The super Mappa goes full screen too.
That was crazy. That was... Honestly, you should win because of that. Honestly, just skip the set. Just
skip the set.
Oh, whatever. Akino right now, huge advantage, huge lead. Trying to go for a throw, but the hit, but the block stun is still coming into play. Onto wall assault. That's a big starter. But messed up the input, or maybe we just already locked into that input, so we weren't able to go for that Calvados to close out the round. And right now we are still alive, and you do not want to keep the Slayers still alive. Those resources will start to build up eventually. Mortal Bottles though coming out on defense and not able to block it in time.
Yeah, maybe that was a mistimed safe jump there. You could have fooled me. I swear that was a safe jump. But we have no burst here on the table, no rounds to be lost. Otherwise, the game is lost. Akino here with the wall break going into Calvados with the Guts Crush super, building a ton of burst as well for Mixius. And we have 50 tension on our end as well.
Yeah, the downside to Calvados is that because it has so many hits, it builds a lot of burst for the player that is getting caught out by it. So you always want to be mindful of whether or not you want to give them burst, or you think that's really going to be posing that much of a threat later into the game. But that's not going to be posing too much of a threat to Akino, as Akino is able to close it out and even up the score yet again. We just keep on trading games back and forth, it seems.
Yeah, it's like you were talking about, right? A lot of these matchups, a lot of these teams are just like very equal in skill, and Mixius Akino definitely looking like it, right? Going back and forth. We might see a game 7. I'm looking forward to it if we do, but here we are going into game number 5. 2-2. Right? Yeah, it should be game number 5.
Mm-hmm. Game number 5, both players even up. We still have 2 more games for either of these players to take it home. It's still a best of 7, given that it is set number 3 of the series. And right now, Akino is once again setting the pace. Ooh, okay, we're hitting Akino with that dust, opening them straight up. There's the wall break.
Yeah, but we're using the Wild Assault for the hard knockdown, refreshing the same situation we've seen a million times. Using a PRC for a nice little, setting up a little shimmy there. Get the counter hit, close slash, and taking down. Mixius up 1. We almost have burst deck, but not quite. Wonder how we're going to go about it this round.
5k 6H into the Daro. Great rooting from Akino right there.
Nice usage of the flex shield there, right? Definitely didn't want to deal with anything else coming with potential BRC slowdown. So really nice get off me too. A little committal, but it ended up out just like the Daro Roman cancel here.
6H into the sword. 2S looking to catch an escape option on the ground, coming out from Mixius, but Mixius instead going for the air escape, and looks like it will be paying off in the end.
Whoa!
Do we have enough for a super? Yes, we will, but we won't need to spend it at all.
Combo was cool. Oh
it was very cool.
Okay, we're going back to that. That was such a swaggy way to take the game. Mixius bringing it up 3-2. But remember, this is the anchor, so we are going here to a first to 4, first to 7. It's not over yet for Akino and Team New Head.
You could say it was quite dandy.
Okay, you got it. That was a good.
It was a dandy combo.
It was a very dandy combo. I like
even people in the chat are like, "What was that combo?" I don't know either. I can't tell you.
That combo was so cool. I've never seen one like that before. You know, because I'm so used to seeing this like the power bunker loops, and here we are off of the backsplit going low for once, and the pile bunker immediately wall sticking from seemingly so far away.
A throw from Akino looking to reverse the situation, though we still have plenty of mirror, so we're just instantly going for the YRC 2D counter hit, hitting him with the overhead, and that,
Look at the damage.
that's set point. That's set point.
That is set point. Here we are, Team Newhead versus Kingdom of Illyrian Royal Guard. Mixius working on the win for them here. Akino not going down without a fight with the far slash into the potential wall break here with the Calvados. Definitely going into it, and there's no burst to be gained. Mixius already has it. Now we're playing the beat.
Staying alive. Wow, the close slash hit on the backdash attempt. And the Calvados yet again. This one has to kill.
Probably kills. Oh,
no, it doesn't.
Wow, just barely
Still
doesn't
alive.
kill. This will Slayer
another chance at life, but instead we go for the air dash JK far slash. That's going to be the round 2. Akino staying alive yet again, but you're back still at set point, and look at that health you lost so early on in this game. Counter it as well. Red RC looking to bait out the super and use a cancelable close slash. You never burst on close slash like that, and with a perfect, Mixius has successfully mixed up Akino and the rest of the new head apes as they take a victory here for they take a victory here for Illyrian Royal Guard.
Now I do believe, because Team Newhead, Uwabami and Sergeant Frogger both they won 2 of the sets, I think the win does head to them. But that set alone, the very anchor, you know, the wins matter, right? So we have 4 wins. It matters, you know, maybe just a little more than the rest. Maybe not in the grand scheme of things, but it definitely will benefit the fact that Mixius won this rather than lose.
Yeah, every game matters. Every round, even rounds matter as well. Because even though the team win is very important, usually when those tiebreakers come into play, you know, those game counts really matter in terms of separating teams apart and choosing who ends up taking the victory and making it into the playoffs as the Aegis Team League continues. But that will be the final set of tonight.
Yeah, you know, here we go, like a little recap of tonight. We have Team Rafflecopters and Team 9 Moon's awesome sets, and we had the Illyrian Royal Guard and Team Newhead. Like you just saw, Team Newhead did eventually take it, but they're not. Illyrian Royal Guard is not out. Obviously, they will be playing against, I'm not sure who, the following week, not next week, because it is Evo. Congrats to all the winners. The losers, we got them next time. You're not out. That was awesome. It was fun to watch. I loved it.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed this team league, remember we still have a match arena that you can donate to. ! Match arena in the chat. Make sure that we can get these players paid. We do have that $700 prize pool, but it can always become bigger. And you know, if you enjoy the show, you can always donate a few dollars. But you know what? Say you don't want to donate any money. Instead, you want to save money. Well, here's our sponsor, Zen Market. Big sponsor for the Aegis Team League, and is your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy from over 10,000 shops in Japan, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all your items safely into one box and can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 languages, which is why Zen Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat to try them out now. If you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 1,000 yen off of your first international shipping fee. Remember, code Aegis to save 1,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. Thank you to Zen Market and all of our sponsors, including the Popcorn Baron, for supporting Aegis Team League and making this happen.
Yeah, and I think after that, you know, I think awesome sets. Looking forward to the following week after that. Thank you to all our sponsors once again. And I think that'll be it. I think we're ready to close out here for the night. My name has been Gummy, and this has been the wonderful Salty Boy. We're here next time. tap in for the following week for the Aegis Team League.